All right. Peace and greetings, YouTubers. Roseanne, you tried it. Like, you really tried it. Like, you see what happens when you have too much racism for lunch? Like, how you get fired on your day off? You weren't even at work and you got fired. What are you doing? Okay, you just had to be racist and you to let your racism mess up the money for everybody else. Now you got this show that had 100, 200 people working on it, and all of them are fired. They got to go find somewhere else to work because you couldn't hold your racism down for 5 minutes. You didn't know how to keep it contained and keep it in the house. You wanted to put it out on a platform in front of millions of people so you could be exposed. Like, what you doing? Okay, like you'd mess it up for everybody. At this point, you're that kid that kicked the ball over the fence, and now everybody got to play tag instead. But it's 90 degrees outside, nobody want to run. Like, that's you at the moment. You done messed it up for everybody else. I always tell you, people always end up having to be collateral when people do some racist stuff. Real jacked up. So the quick backstory, because I know some of y'all are already pissed off that you've seen this video, because I know some of y'all love Roseanne, and it is what it is. But long story short, Roseanne was doing her Roseanne thing and tweeting. And she made this tweet where it says something about, you mix the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes and you get Valerie Jarrett. And Valerie Jarrett is this black woman who worked in the Obama administration. And so from that point on, within America's history, any kind of correlation where it comes with monkeys and black people, it will always be deemed as racist because the generation that Roseanne comes from and the generations before have made that a perpetuated stereotype about black people, that we all came from monkeys or we look like monkeys or we look like apes. It started with the whole eugenics and Darwin and all that nonsense, and it always followed suit. And when you got to Roseanne's generation, that stuff was heavily saturated in the U.S. media. It was saturated in the magazines. It was saturated in the advertisements. And that was the reality of what a lot of people used to associate black people with. It was one of the ways to kind of push an anti-black, ideology around the country and push the idea that black people were not attractive, that black people were inhumane, that black people were not civilized. And so I know a lot of people were trying to say it's not that deep. If you watch Planet of the Apes, it was about a revolt and blah, blah, blah. And Valerie Jarrett, I think she was Iranian or something like that, and they're Muslim. You guys always got to pull a race card. It's not that deep. Freedom of speech. Y'all want to be so politically correct all the time. Sorry, your generation created that, so you're going to sit there and you're going to eat the cake that you created. Y'all created that. So, yes, sit on it. So, and the thing about it was, so she made the tweet. People started getting outraged. Within the same day, they canceled her show. Canceled the whole thing. And so, before it got canceled, she had put out the apology and, I should have known better. Really bad choice. Cool, I guess. But here's my thing. I don't really buy the celebrity apologies when they do these different things and then, they get exposed, because a lot of the times they're only apologizing because they know that they just messed their money up. And honestly, if we want to talk money, the shady part is most likely ABC will probably give her a little settlement on the side. Now, the rest of them ain't getting anything. They'll get some little severance pay on the way out the door. But, they might give Roseanne some kind of package or something if there was some kind of contract or something signed. But the thing about this that I saw with Roseanne was like, she did the apology. Then after the show got canceled, I went to just go look on her Twitter to see what she was talking about. Literally everything that she tweeted and retweeted was in support of what she already said. The stupidest comment I saw was somebody who actually happened to be like a senator out of Georgia, like a state senator, saying, well, I don't get what this is about. Roseanne's actually darker than Valerie Jarrett. I was like, all of y'all can't be this stupid. Like, these are the people y'all are elected? Okay. But so here's my thing. Some of the people are like, you guys are being too hard on Roseanne. Not everybody is aware of what goes on in this country when it comes to race. I was like, bullshit. Y'all can save it, especially with Roseanne. Y'all are not going to give Roseanne that kind of, alibi. Like, the thing is, when it comes to issues with race or anything that's just really in poor taste, when it comes to different perspectives and viewpoints, sometimes I can almost possibly think about, on a random Tuesday during a leap year, if all the stars are aligned, maybe giving a pass to somebody who might only be 20 years old. Because in this day and age, with the way that the history books are going, they're taking everything out of the history books anyway. Some people really just don't know. But the difference between a 20-year-old and Roseanne, who's like 66, is Roseanne is old enough to understand how race works in this country and what's offensive and what isn't. At this point, listen, just to put this into context, okay, Roseanne is old enough to have been on the bus with Rosa Parks. She might have only been 2, but she might have been on that bus, okay? It might have been her babysitter telling Rosa to get up that day, okay? That's how old Roseanne is. So Roseanne knows better. So when she said, I should have known better, yeah, you should have. So I don't know why you tweeted that. I'm telling you, Twitter's getting a lot of these celebrities in trouble. They need to just start having like a publicist that proofreads the tweets before they put stuff out. But then at the same time, it's like, well, listen, you got a whole president who ran on a racist platform and won through the lens of racism. So Roseanne's like, well, hell, he doing it. Why? What's the problem if I do it? Okay, y'all pick and choose when y'all want to do the whole political correctness thing. That's how Roseanne was probably looking at it. But you know, it's a hot mess. And at the same time, I'm kind of side eyeing ABC a bit because, from what I understand, Roseanne has been pretty problematic for the last few years anyway, and y'all still gave her a show. Y'all still gave her the reboot. Now, I'm not going to take away from the sitcom from before before the reboot, like the original one. I didn't really pay attention to what the new one was doing, but I do remember the original sitcom, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a really great show. The writing was excellent. I think it did a great job of pretty much showcasing the experience of working class white Americans, through the eyes of average everyday people. And I was like, okay, this is actually a really good show. The subject matter dealt with a lot of things. They dealt with race. They dealt with, classes. And I think that's probably what made it a good show, is the socioeconomic standpoint of the show, showcasing what the experience is for people who may not always have everything. And so, hey, I'm cool with that Roseanne from back in the day. Now, maybe she always felt this way and she just used to disguise it really well. But, when I thought of Roseanne, I thought of that. I didn't know about all the other crazy stuff she started talking about later. So I was looking at ABC like, y'all still gave her a show, huh? And really what I think that was about, if you remember after the current president was elected, there were a million think pieces that came out about, the forgotten blue collar worker, they just needed a voice, and that's why Trump was elected. They weren't being heard. And so that was the crave. Like all the media outlets were kind of supporting that, and people who were in the alt-right were all of a sudden, not political, but like public figures who were somewhat celebrities and getting magazine covers and stuff like this. And I feel like ABC was like, okay, we have an audience here, and they hopped on that train. So you knew what you were getting before you signed her on. So that's why I'm kind of like, ABC, you might as well keep the show on. You knew exactly what you were getting. You know who the demographic was that was going to be watching this show. You saw what the president was endorsing about the show. You might as well keep the show on air because you knew exactly what y'all were getting into. Y'all knew where the show stood. You knew what she had been saying for all those years, at least the last few years. But, that's what happens when money talks. People will sit there and just try it out. They thought Roseanne could just keep her racism just subtle enough so it won't shake the table and ruffle too many feathers. They felt that, if she does all the racist stuff, let's just write the other characters to be extremely left-wing and extremely liberal to counterbalance what Roseanne was saying, and that'll balance out everything. And so, hey, it is what it is. What do I think will happen with the show? Who knows? There might actually be, when the smoke clears, there might be another network that might pick it up. Netflix might pick it up. I don't know. One of the smaller channels might pick it up. I saw that it also got the original seasons. I keep saying the original, like everything before. When did the show get canceled? Like 97, 98? Those episodes, all those from 97, 98 back. I saw that like all the syndicated episodes have been pulled off most of the TV networks. But, it is what it is. You're living in a climate where there's a lot going on, and people are going to be more outraged about things because, listen, it's a lot of nonsense at the moment, and people keep trying to hide behind the lens of we don't have to always be politically correct and freedom of speech. And my thing is this: you can have your freedom of speech and you don't have to be politically correct, but at the same time, you can't get outraged if people, they hand it to you because of what you've said or what you've put out there. You know what I mean? And a lot of the people who are really outraged about this show being canceled and political correctness and First Amendment are the same ones who are pissed off at Colin Kaepernick for taking that knee, doing exactly what they're claiming that Roseanne is doing. So I need y'all to figure out which battle y'all want to fight and then get back to me and let me know how you feel. Anyway, I'm out. Subscribe.